Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Thrive, Not Just Survive. I'm your host, Nasira Jamal. I hope you guys are doing amazing. It's midweek, and for me here north of Toronto, it's downpour. It's raining, and it is actually quite calm. And wherever you are, I hope you are starting off your day positive and empowered and ready to get the day successful for yourself. So today I wanted to bring on someone extremely special, someone who talks about empowerment, self-empowerment, personal development, and how she got into doing it because she had gone through her own life struggles, and what's helped her is what now is becoming her genius in terms of helping others. So I want to bring Kim on so that we can get this conversation started. You can get some words of wisdom and some true wisdom from somebody who's been there, done that, and now showing up for others and helping them. So let's get Kim on and we'll start. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining me. I am so grateful that you're here.
Oh, thank you, Nasira. It's wonderful to be here. I sure appreciate this.
Awesome. So, you know what, before we start, I want to just kind of get a framework of your life. What got you to doing what you're doing? Just because it gives a reference point for people that are listening, an idea of, who and why and what. So go ahead and share your story with me.
Okay. Well, I'm, first of all, a new grandmother. So that's an amazing place to be in my life. And we're here in Minnesota now and live by our family, and it's wonderful and exciting and scary. There's a lot going on, and each day I have to ask myself, how can I help change the world? How much news do I need to listen to today? How much meditation should I be doing? To try to take care of myself. And I am an artist, and I grew up loving art and having that creative outlet. And I've found through different therapies, art therapy, to be a wonderful way to let my creative side come out and actually heal from the inside out. The art can say what words can't sometimes.
Yeah. And so, I mean, that's really interesting to me because it's a way of expression, right? So for some people, they have to write in a journal. Some people need to kind of connect with nature. And I like the idea of you bringing this to the forefront because some people may have been drawn to their creative side or the outlet, but not realize that it's serving a deeper, like you said, a healing from the inside out kind of perspective. So can you walk me through a little bit about what that means in terms of that level of art therapy and how that can help someone?
Yes. Well, I'm learning more all the time. I'm actually starting graduate school the end of this month at Adler Graduate College to get a degree in art therapy. So I'll have my master's and be able to, formally do this in institutional settings, hospitals, treatment centers, really a lot of different places. They're finding that doing this process can help people healing from cancer, from surgery. So kind of the physical pain as well as the emotional pain. And that's the part that the emotional pain is where I really was helped with art therapy. And my experience was very organic to begin with. And I was at a pain clinic, and they went through, it was 10 days, and they didn't have too much art therapy to provide for us, except for indoors, kind of at the table, kind of like mandalas and journaling and things. And I'm a very physical person, so I need to touch things to really experience it and heal. And we were out in the woods in Canada, and I discovered that they had a barn full of old paints, and I asked, can I just do some painting outside? And they said sure. And there was an old, they had beach mats from Hawaii, that you roll out, and so I just really started doing kind of a Pollock thing of throwing paint around on that mat, and I was talking, I was emoting, I was letting things out, and the creation was beautiful. And this is nothing that you're doing like, okay, I'll hang this in a gallery, right? Or how much will somebody pay me for this? It's so it's not about being a good artist. It's not about good or bad. Anybody can do this process, and it's very individual. So I'm just really excited to get that out, to the world.
Yes, I think that is so incredible that it is another way of sort of dealing with, whether it's like you said, it can be physical or emotional or maybe a combination of many different things, right? Because life brings on circumstances that perhaps we all have to find a way, right, to get that healing, and different people resonate with different things. But I love the idea that it's not necessarily about the piece of art or that idea of making it perfect. It's about something more deeper than that.
Yes, exactly. And then as I've gone on in my life, different areas have incorporated it. Another treatment center that used art therapy to help with eating disorders, and then in that one we did like a family art project of just drawing our journey together, the three of us drawing, with crayons on paper. But it's amazing what comes from that, and talking about our journey and things we didn't know about each other. And in some personal therapy, we did a wonderful project where color is very important to me, and we were talking about parts of self. So I was able to draw myself with different color wheels, of what the parts of me is trying to say. Because a lot of my life, that's been my process, is learning how to listen to myself, how to honor my feelings, honor my emotions, even if I don't like them, even if they're saying something I don't want them to say, even if they're speaking out of line, that whole committee in my head. So honoring that and sitting with it and giving it space and telling, I love and accept you. And I love and accept you. Let's go. Let's all work together. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Like, it's just like already my heart is racing because I feel like, oh my goodness, this is so powerful. The fact that you've seen your own like results in for yourself, and then taking the next step of saying I want to get my master's in it, and really because that it works, it can help people. And this is sort of where you really thrive, is you just want to help people in places where perhaps they felt or they feel unhelpable, or maybe alone, or feel like nothing works, because maybe they haven't connected yet to art therapy. And I think this is just you're bringing it to this audience and opening that sort of awareness up. So I really am grateful for you even being vulnerable enough to share your own side of how you used it and how it sort of helped you. I want to talk about the empowerment piece. I know that you have a very unique way of helping people get to that place of like that personal development, the things they want to work on, the things that they really want to achieve. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, yes, I think I have looked for the answers for so long from the outside. And that's kind of what I started to realize at some point. I had been to countless doctors and therapists and psychologists, and all of the different fix me things. And I'm not saying that they didn't work or help, because I've needed to pull from each of these to have the mental health that I have, to have the mental wellness that I have, but to actually start to trust myself instead of I need to write down what that counselor said. I need to write down what that doctor said. Okay, how do I talk to my mom? I write down what my counselor said, and hey, that's helped. I've needed some of those scripts, right? Because I didn't grow up with that intuitive sense of how to bring up conflict. That wasn't allowed, really. How to feel my emotions. Crying wasn't allowed. So a piece of this has been looking at my core, who Kim is, describe myself in 3 words type of a thing, really go deep. And part of that, this the life visioning that I came across several years ago and got certified in, that has been such a big help to me. That's like kind of like my mental health piece or my mantra. And if I don't listen to myself tell me, it's kind of like that movie where the woman gets amnesia. Do you remember that? And each morning she has to wake up and watch the same video that explains to her who she is and why she's here, who
Right.
she loves. So it's almost, it just helps me get set in the day because it reminds me, this is me, that I wrote this. These are my core values. This is where I'm at.
And I think, I love it because I know exactly the certification you speak of. I'm also certified in that methodology. What I want to really stress there is, we have beliefs that are programmed, through our childhood, through our schooling, through our parents, through our friends, and whatever we've been our experiences have been, there are limiting beliefs that kind of show up that are programmed there.
Mm-hmm.
The technique that you're talking about actually allows you, as you listen to your voice, because I believe that, they say you believe your own voice more than anyone else's, right?
Yeah.
So as you listen to it and then you begin to do it every day, you're reprogramming your subconscious mind to have a different set of beliefs. And then when you change that, the neural pathways are changing, all of a sudden life experiences begin to change. Right? So it's a really cool way of bringing all of this together to say, okay, I'm going to take control of this situation because what's there right now is not true.
Mm-hmm.
For a lot of us, right? For a lot of those beliefs that were perhaps programmed.
Yeah.
And then we take the next step to say, I'm going to take this power back and I'm going to do it in a way that resonates with me, with my voice, with stuff that I've written down. And of course, there's a real process to this. Like you can walk your clients through the exact steps because it's not just willy-nilly. Like every word has power and the way it's written has power, right? So there's a lot of things that have to align and done properly for that to be reprogrammed. So can you talk to me about that program? Like how do people get access to working with you or even talking to you about what does this mean? How can I do this?
Yes, that's wonderful. Well, my website, if you go to www.kimgrantier.com, will give you a lot of information. And there are different levels of the program you can sign up for. Basically, there are 5 different life facets that we look at: family, self-care, mental health, finances, higher power, and there's something else.
Is it relationships?
I think relationships, so not just family, but friends, yes.
Right.
And so depending on how much help you need to kind of get going, and we meet for at least one session and then can do more. So then you'll get information about how to get the process started and write your paragraph, send it to me. I'll take a look at it and make sure that it's in present form, right? Not I will go to Hawaii in September, but I go to Hawaii in September. And to make those positive statements, so it's always in the positive. It's not I want to quit smoking, because your head thinks, oh, smoking, that's the last thing I just said in that sentence. So then it gloms on there. So it's really interesting to do that. And then I love classical music anyway, and that is the beat and the rhythm the Baroque music has got a great pattern and rhythm for your brain to get into the mode to really, really accept what it is you're learning and saying.
Well, there's so many different things. Like I said, this programming, we can't go into all full details here, but what it does is allow you to use the different, like the writing, the listening, the music behind it, which has a vibration to it, which means that, your brain waves are altered when you're listening to that type of classical music. I mean, there's so much, right?
Mhm.
But the whole idea is if you want to take, I guess, control of your life in these different aspects and these different facets, as you're calling them, then it's about, really sitting down and being one with yourself to say what is important in each facet.
Yeah.
And then, going through somebody like you who's been certified, who can coach them through how it's written and maybe make those minor corrections, just so that when you're listening to it over and over again, it's the right terminology, it's the right positive spin on words, right? So that the subconscious is getting it, because you don't want to give it information that you don't, where you might confuse the mind as to what is that, or what do you mean? Like you said, the last word is smoking. Is it going to grab onto smoking and then only concentrate on smoking, not necessarily the quitting of smoking, right? So it's really interesting. I mean, when I took the process, I was kind of blown away. I was like, wow, I didn't realize, that there's a way to get this stuff realigned. So I love that you're doing that. And I want to encourage people to, reach out to you at kimgrantier.com if they want more information on this program, and even maybe just speak with you about art therapy. Like, I think for some, this may be something completely new. Maybe it's something that they'd like conversation with you. Would you be open to, them reaching out and just kind of yeah.
Of course. And you can email me at kim@kimgrantier.com. And there's also a schedule on one of the pages to put in if you would like to have a free consultation and just talk for a little while, and we can get to know each other and see if it's a good fit.
That's awesome. You know what? I think this is whole, like, being that we're in an online world now, right? This really makes it easy for people to connect, with a phone call, or even just getting onto a Zoom meeting, right? Where you can actually see each other and make that connection. I think there's so many people that are coming out and finally being able to share their genius, their light. And this, I believe, part of COVID, what that silver lining, right? Where people are beginning to say, well, why am I here? What am I doing? And who am I serving?
I agree. Yeah.
Right? So I really want to commend you for taking the next step with taking the master's degree and getting really good at that genius, because I believe that, as long as you're following that path, what you're being called to do, and you're serving others, then everything else comes anyways, right? Like, you find your peace, you find that level of happiness, contentment. People show up that need to show up. So I want to really applaud you for taking that journey on. And so I want to ask you, if there's somebody that's listening to our show right now and is really struggling in any area of their life, right now I'm finding a lot of my people are talking about, finances and relationships. Those are the two that are really getting a beating right now for a lot of people. What wisdom, what kind of things would you say to them to maybe just even think differently as they move to the next step?
Wow. Well, I think that it's kind of like when you're looking for that mate, you're not going to find the mate. When you're looking for the pot of gold, you're not going to find the gold, right? Because you're so focused on that one thing that, yes, there's law of attraction and that kind of a thing. But I think going within and saying, what am I passionate about? If you can take a breath and take the time to do that. I mean, I know you have to have food on the table to do that, right? But to be able, what are my gifts? What are my talents? What do I love? Even if I'm not talented at it, what do I love? And that, bringing that joy to your life will just bring pieces together. I believe in that.
Yeah. And I think that's exactly right. Like what you just said is, of course, we all need to have like food on the table, and we got to do those things. But if we can just take a step back, take a breath, and really connect with what makes you happy, or what you really love, because then what happens is you even change your own vibration to that place of like that clarity. It comes to you, right, from that place of saying, I may not have it yet, but this is what I'm really passionate about, or this is what I really love. And
Mhm.
as soon as you shift that, you change something inside of you.
Yeah.
And though you can't see it, what happens is we start attracting things with a higher level of vibration, right?
Yeah.
Everything is energy. And, so there's some people who want to have more sort of scientific data to say, well, why do we have to go through A to get to B, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes it's this whole idea of leaning in with trust. Just
Mhm.
trust that process. Trust
Mhm.
yourself,
Yeah.
right? You can say, I got this. I can figure this out. I can figure it
Mhm.
all out. So I think, you know what, as we go through it, you and I, we all have our life challenges, but we show up when we have gone through it for our tribes, our community, our people, our family,
Yeah.
because we speak from experience and say, you know what, if I can do it, you can do it, kind of thing, right? Like, this is where we're at. So I want to I'm so grateful that you were able to come on and share this, because there's a lot of people out there that may be confused and
Mhm.
not knowing where to start.
Yeah.
Right. So I want to encourage people to go to your website, to connect with you. If they want to talk about the Life Vision program that you have, that might be a great place to start for
Mhm.
clarity, for somebody to say, I don't even know what this means anymore because I'm so confused.
Mhm.
Then you can break it down for them in those 5 facets that you spoke about, where they can begin to see things a little bit differently, right? So I
Yeah.
want to encourage that. I want to wish you so much success with your going back to school and your master's. I want to invite you back if you, when you're done and you want to come back and share what you've learned. I would love that. And at the end of the day, I think we're all sort of being called to do something,
Mhm.
right? And it's that trusting of that calling to say, yes, I'm going to take that first step, right? We don't have all the answers.
Yes.
So I just want to say thank you so much for sharing your light. And do you have any parting words before we tie this conversation up?
Oh my goodness. Oh, I thank you so much for having me on and giving me this opportunity to share. And I guess for people like me who maybe have given and given and given a lot of their life and thought their self-worth would come from other people, mirroring back to them. Do I look okay? Do you like my outfit? Am I getting a good grade? Am I da, 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 da? To say it's okay to feel joy, your own joy within. It's okay. It's good. And to be able to have that sense of self esteem, and self confidence that you are okay just as you are.
That is so, like, that's amazing, right? When can you can feel it, or you can talk to somebody about it and help them get there, right? Because sometimes it's just that we need someone to say it's okay, right? And I love the fact that you did say, the external, when you're looking for that kind of acknowledgement from outside, the outside world, that can actually be something that can break us down further. Because if we don't get it, we then look at ourselves in a very negative light, saying, perhaps I'm not good enough. So I think to find that joy within, to connect with who you are, is such an important aspect of beginning the transformation journey of when you want to create a different life, right?
Yeah.
So I love it. I love the idea of just, you're okay and we're all okay, and perfect just the way we are. And I think it's also attracting people around us that can empower us rather than diminish us. So thank you for being that light to those that need you. And now you've come to this audience, and I hope that this is the wisdom they take away. So I want to thank you again for your time. Good luck with schooling, and I will hopefully see you soon.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Bye. Thank you, Kim.
Bye.
So this interview, I hope somewhere as you are thinking about things, touched you in a way that perhaps it allows you to take that next step. See, we don't need to know all of the answers. We don't all know all of the answers, but we do know that we can reach out to others, perhaps somebody who's just a few steps ahead of you that has figured things out, and you don't have to do it alone. And the whole idea of connecting to self and who you are is Kim's message, of course, but figure out for yourself what that means. Take a few minutes in a day, perhaps journal, perhaps maybe art is your thing, and you may want to talk to Kim about that. So I invite you, if you're watching this on replay, #replay, share the video. You never know who's out there that could really use the information and perhaps this connection, and reach out to Kim if you have any questions about art therapy or creating your life vision, because you want to now take life into your own hands. Reach out to Kim. So with that, I want to wish you a wonderful, prosperous Wednesday. And remember always to be kind to yourself and others. I'll see you tomorrow.